Hey guys, it's Tony here. So, as you guys seen in the last video, I've upgraded and I got me a Dodge Charger. It's a 2019 Dodge Charger Pursuit. It's a pretty little thing. It's expensive, but she's mine and I like her. So, compared to the Marquis, it's definitely a nice upgrade. So, but we're gonna go ahead, take a little tour around. As you guys can see, this is the part of the front. So, this is all just, I want to start hitting all the sides and all inside of it, and that way you guys can kind of get a full view of of everything and how it looks, and you guys are part of this with us. So go ahead and show you the inside, John. I'm gonna kind of not go all the way down because for personal reasons, for license plate and all that, but I still left the sticker on because I haven't got a chance to get it off, but it was done at Westgate's Cars over in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Westgate Dodge dealership.
Well, I figured it's a Dodge, so. And there's Michael over there being weird, so.
As always.
A nice little trunk. Forget the mess and all the other little junk and stuff in it. So, it's a pretty little thing. There's a spare tire, a tool set, little things around. There's a battery that Cameron gave me. And this, the big boy. Well, let me get this in here. So. And the other side, nice little car and pretty and all that.
Tent's probably illegal as hell.
I don't know. That's a very good question still. I haven't figured out whether the tent's legal or not. So, but know that it's probably, this is an old police car, so very good chance that it might be. So,
It's actually North Carolina Highway Patrol police car.
from,
State troopers.
but I figured I'd let you guys see the hood as well. Part of the inside. But we'll get to that here in a minute. Let's get to the actual pretty parts that most people want to see. All you mechanics and all you car guys, this is all the good stuff. The 5.7 Hemi. That thing big boy. Got all the little accessories, all the nice stuff. This is the worst nightmare right here of it all. 16 spark plugs. There's 2 for each coil. Expensive. Then you got all your nice little things, alternator, everything with that, idler pulley, water pumps, all the good stuff. And the other side of the motor, all around, a nice little big air box, which is a hassle to get off. Not really, but
We might be putting a cold air intake on soon. The K&N cold air intake.
yeah, coming from Michael's pockets.
Yes, because I want to buy it for his car.
Because they're expensive.
It's
But
like $400.
But he's perfectly fine with blowing $500 like it's nothing. So, but the inside, there's that. The nice, pretty motor. And then,
Headlights. You had to upgrade the headlights.
oh yeah, so I ended up, so the headlights we ended up having, they weren't bad, but they were very low. And as you guys can probably see just looking at it alone,
Very cloudy.
yeah, there's cloudy, and we figured out it's on the inside of it.
We'll have to replace the
Actual headlight,
housing.
the whole assembly on it. So, but I took out the headlights and replaced them out with some LEDs, and those jokers jumped straight up. It was like night and day from the LEDs compared to the halogen that was in there. So you can definitely tell that the bulbs itself was probably, going out. So it definitely needs some stronger ones. So, but since I've got the car, I changed out the headlights, placed out some brand new Rain-X wiper blades. The air box, I changed out the air filter because it was a little dirty. So, like you guys can see, I replaced out the battery from what it was. So, and then this is the inside of it. Steering wheel, dash, the radio, controls, all that. And surprisingly, like I said, it's an old police car. Doesn't have a console. Has this old metal bracket. And this is where I believe where the policeman kept, the computers and all his little, desk things, because it hooked onto this. But there's my box of Cheez-Its. Say hello. And then the rest of the back seat. And so, very pretty, very nice car. It's a lot of good stuff.
What about the bullshit with Apple CarPlay?
And I'm assuming because this is an old police car, it doesn't have the software to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto or any of that stuff. So when we ended up calling the Dodge dealership, and Michael had talked to the service person on the phone, and they had told him that the techs are not 100% sure they can fix it, but they would give it a try. And just to try for a 50-50 chance of getting it was like $200. And even after paying $200, they're not even positive that they would have known if they could fix the problem or not. So I think that was kind of messed up. But there's all that, all the little functions and ins and outs. And just for you car people, how that thing just cranks up and purrs. Sounds nice. Real nice.
The average amount of money people...
Turn that down for copyright reasons. But yeah, she all nice and pretty. And I guess we're going to end it here because we got some more talking, but we wanted to give you guys a little visual. So we're going to explain some more here in a few minutes. So we'll see you guys later. Peace.
Hey guys, I'm Michael.
Tony, what's up?
And welcome to Blogging with Michael and Tony. So, as you guys just saw the little walk around that Tony did with his new 2019 Dodge Charger police pursuit, or pursuit, however you want to say it. Let me tell you how it got started. So, it was Tony's day off, and we had, I was checking the mail. As you guys have known, I've been waiting for a check from Allstate for the body shop. So we had checked the mail or whatever, and hoping that check from Allstate for my car for the body shop be fixed. And well, Tony gets a letter from Capital One saying you're pre-approved for a vehicle at the Westgate Dodge dealership in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I'm like, okay. But Tony, that Mercury Grand Marquis you got is old, and it's got very high mileage on it. It actually burns oil like crazy. Burns like what, a quart of oil every 2,000 miles, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
he kept getting check engine light codes for catalytic converters. Well, there was no point in changing the catalytic converters because we basically knew it was smoking a little bit from it burning oil. So it was like, there's no point in changing the catalytic converters. So Tony was going to get the motor fixed. He was going to actually, there's a program through his job, and I'm going to let you explain that program real quick.
So it's an AutoZone program for like the employees, where you have to be approved for it, but the program through corporate and all that. But this program pretty much, you can get like various things replaced, like from engine, transmission, to like water pumps and belts and just little things like that. It's a whole program that just kind of take care of the AutoZoners as a whole kind of thing, just kind of keep us going to working with them. But there's a whole application you have to apply for and stuff, but get approval and all that, and take it up to a shop, and then get the parts and all that. AutoZone will provide the parts, and then they'll pay the shop to do it. So it's kind of like a little assistant funds for AutoZoners. And at the time we were looking into possibly doing that, and get a new motor in the Marquise. But thinking about it, it's just might have been one of those things. Maybe just been better just to maybe just get another car.
So, with that being said, like I said, we were thinking about doing that little program that his job offers employees. We were thinking about doing that, and we were actually in the progress of it. We actually had an appointment for like 2 days.
Yeah.
It was like 2 days before we actually got the car. We actually had an appointment with the mechanic shop to do a diagnostic and to give them quotes, for motor replacement, with a reman motor. Anyways, well, like I said, we were waiting for that letter in the mail from Allstate for my check so I could pay the body shop. And instead we got a letter from Capital One that says, well, a lot of y'all don't know his real name, so I ain't gonna say his real name. Tony's just a nickname. Tony's actually his name.
Mexican.
I'll tell you this much: his middle name is Antonio, so
that's where Tony comes from.
That's where Tony comes from. But anyways, so we'll just say the letter said, "Hey Tony, you're pre-approved with Capital One at Westgate dealership." So I told him, I was like, "Look, man, here's the deal. With the Marquise, I helped him weigh the cons and pros." And he's like, "You know what? Screw it. Let's go up there." But see, he has tried to get approved before at different dealerships, and they always turned him down. Matter of fact, my fiance, she's got a really good credit, and she was gonna she co-signed for him one time, and they was like, this is at a Ford dealership though, and they was like, "You know what, Mr. Tony, we actually want you to take your name off the loan application completely and just have my fiance, Kat's name on it just by herself." And Tony was very offended by that. So we never did go through with that. That was like, probably a year ago. But, since Capital One said he was pre-approved, so we were just like, screw it. If he's pre-approved, So we went up there. It took us like an hour to get there because Raleigh's like at least an hour away. We get up there, and our salesman, his name was TJ, and Tony goes in there and he sits down. As soon as I get there, I hadn't had a cigarette, and Tony doesn't allow me to smoke in his car, so I get there, I'm outside smoking. Tony's already starting a conversation with the salesman. And I come in afterwards, and Tony's like, you know what, I want a Ford. And they're like, well, we got quite a few Fords, you know, on a lot, pre-owned Fords, you know, that'd be a possibility. And you know, I wasn't being rude or anything like that, but I told the salesman, I said, let's just run his credit first, because I explained the situation about the Ford dealership, how they pretty much, you know, told him, hey, you know, we don't even want you in a loan application, you know. So he's like, okay, that's understandable. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. He's like, actually, you know, that is actually a pretty good idea. So, so they ran his credit, and literally every single Ford that was out there on the lot, he didn't approve for. He didn't get approved for, which is weird, and we're going to tell you why here in a second. So, this car right here, I think it's like $14,000. Was, I don't know why it's so damn cheap, to be honest with you. I really don't know. I guess because it has 135,000 miles on it. I don't know. But, you know, you would think, you know, being a big ass V8 Hemi, it'd be more, you know?
Yeah.
So, but this car's like 14,000. And then after interest, poor Tony. Tony's paying 30% interest. Oh, I feel so bad for him. Oh, I yanked the car up to about $20,000. After everything's said and done, he's on a 5-year, what is that, 60 months?
Yeah.
60-month payment and 30% interest. Anyways. He didn't get approved for any of the Fords, and they were a little cheaper, but he got approved for a used Dodge Charger, 2019 Dodge Charger Pursuit. Blows my fucking mind. Anyways, well, I'll be honest with you, we almost didn't get this car because I went outside and I heard some ticking because the salesman, he pulled the car around, and as soon as we walk out the door, it's so I'm thinking, okay, well maybe it's got a high pressure fuel pump. You know, those high pressure fuel pumps are very, they're very loud, and I looked, no high pressure fuel pump, just normal fuel rails with regular fuel injectors. So I'm like, what the hell is that noise? So the serpentine belt was squealing a little bit, just a little bit. And, but also I heard lifters. And I'm like, man, this ain't sounding good. There's little lifters or whatever, it just does not sound good. So I asked the salesman, I said, hey man, I said, look, can you go pull another Charger around and crank that up and let me listen to that one? Let me just compare the sound. He's like, man, it's a Hemi. They sound like that, man. They sound like that. I'm like, no, they do not. No. And what's funny is at the end of the day, after the sale was made, the salesman was like, man, you a great friend. He complimented me like 3 or 4 different times, telling me I was such a great friend because I was looking out for Tony, and making sure that everything was mechanically sound on the car for Tony. So basically, anyway, so the guy was like, when I told him to bring another Charger around and crank it up, let me hear. Instead of doing it, he's like, yeah, okay, let me do that. But instead, he went in there, I guess, got a sales manager. Sales manager comes out, and I explained to the sales manager what I hear, what I see. He's like, oh, we can get that fixed or whatever, right? So I was like, and Tony was like, no. lifters are expensive. And he's like, I work at an auto parts store. I know how expensive lifters are. I sell them to customers all day long, you know. So, pretty much after that, the salesman goes, okay, well, we'll go get another charger from the warehouse. It's right up the road. And to me, warehouse just sounds like a, manufacturing plant, but it's not, apparently. Anyways, our salesman TJ was gone for a whole hour at this warehouse, and we sitting there. Me and Tony standing out. It's cold out now. This is December. So me and Tony just sitting out there, standing in the cold, hoping the guy hurry up and come back. We said screw it, we finally went inside. And we waited another 20, 30 minutes, and he finally showed up. He goes, oh, I'm so sorry. The warehouse was closed, and literally every charger they had was not in your budget. La 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 la. You like how I did that? No, but so I was like, you know what, Tony? I was like, maybe I could just put a can of Seafoam in the old crankcase, and I said, Seafoam's been known to quiet lifters down and stuff, and I said everything else looks mechanically sound and sounds mechanically sound on the car. I said, I was like, why don't you just give it a chance? So I was like, okay, I'll do that. Which, by the way, we did get a can of Seafoam. After everything was said and done that night, we went straight to Walmart, where we got 7 quarts of oil. Yes, it takes 7 quarts of oil. And of the fine premium Mobil 1 extended performance high mileage oil with an extended performance Mobil 1 oil filter. Yes, praise Jesus for Mobil 1. We love Mobil 1 around here, don't we?
Well,
So, Mobil 1, you should definitely sponsor us. We love you guys. Mobil 1's just great. I've always, I've had a very, very high mileage, 400,000 mile car, and take the valve cover off. I had to change the valve cover because it was leaking. And you should have seen how pretty it was in there. Like, the camshaft was just all pretty, and it was beautiful inside. So that's why, I'm a big Mobil 1 fan. And also, I've noticed too, Mobil 1 likes to keep vehicles running a little longer because they have a lot more additives in them to prevent wear. But anyways, so Tony says yes to the Dodge Charger. Going back to that, Tony says yes to the Dodge Charger. We get up into the finance department, and we told the sales guy, beforehand, we can't pay, Tony can't pay no more than like $400 a month, like no more. And that is like his max. Working at AutoZone, you don't get paid that much. What'd you get paid at AutoZone again?
14 something.
So yeah, so 14 something, full time. So you guys figure that out. 80 hours every 2 weeks. That's not much money. So that was very, very crucial. And that $400 a month was like, that was really pushing it. I mean, we were really hoping it wouldn't have been that much, but that was like that was his max, And I hate it because Tony and even my fiance, they always have me do all the talking because they say I'm smarter and know what I'm doing and know what I'm talking about and all this other stuff. So they pretty much have me talk for them, right? So sometimes it's annoying. And sometimes I really don't enjoy doing it, but I know it's for a great cause. Anyways, so we get to the finance office and I said, no, They were talking about some $440 or something like that a month.
$490.
Yeah, $490 a month. And we was like, whoa, hold up now. We told our salesman no more than 400, and that was our max. I said, we just can't complete the sale if you can't, if you guys want to charge that much. We'll just take take the Grand Marquis back. We hadn't signed any paperwork yet for the title, transfer the title over, so the car was still technically Tony's at that point. And he's like, hold on. So he goes up to his, I guess goes to the sales manager. Sales manager tells the finance guy to deeply discount the car. So after about 2 or 3 minutes, the finance guy comes back in and says, hey, you guys are in luck. My sales manager told me to go ahead and deeply discount the car for you. So he starts typing in some numbers, whatever. After 45 seconds of silence, he goes, what about $401 a month? I said, no. I said, I told you. 400 even is like the max, like not even a penny more than 400. So he says, okay, give me a second. Another 45 seconds, just silence, awkward silence of that. He goes, okay, how about $399.12 a month? I said, that'll do. So he's like, all right, cool. So he's like, sign here, all this other crazy stuff. Tony was signing his life away. Tony was basically signing himself into debt.
Yep.
So that's how that went. And we went to Walmart afterwards. We got a can of Seafoam, 7 quarts of Mobil 1, extended performance, high mileage with the Mobil 1 extended performance oil filter. And what does it take? What does the weight? Was it 520 it takes?
Yep.
It takes 5W20, which is, I'm surprised a big V8 like that's taking that, that thin of oil. But
well, the Marquis did the same thing.
Did it really? Did it take
520.
Oh, that's right. It did take 520. Yeah. That's actually what my Fusion takes is 520. My Fusion's a 4-cylinder, But
See, now we can share oil around here now.
yeah.
Now we all have the same thing.
Except Cat's car, it's OW.
OW20.
Yeah, OW20. Yeah.
Well, Tom Train Corolla, get you a car that does 520, so we can share all around.
Oh, that reminds me. So before we actually headed to the Dodge dealership in Raleigh, Tony was like checking over the Marquis or whatever, and it was like, I think about a half a quart or the quart low. And Tony's like, I was checking the oil or whatever, because I don't want it to affect the value of what they're going to give me for the car. And he goes, I'm a little low oil. I said, shit. I said, I got some 5W20 in there, and I said, I got some OW20, and I got all kinds of mixture of different weights of oil in there. So yeah, just pour it all in there. So he pours a total of a quart in, but it was all different weights.
One was 520, the other one was 020.
Yeah. So anyways, well, anyway, so we get back home or whatever, all right, sorry, so I forgot to tell you guys, for the Grand Marquis, I actually looked up the Kelley Blue Book value, and I even put in the VIN number for his car with the mileage and everything, and Kelley Blue Book was saying $600 for his car, but Westgate Dodge actually gave him $1,000 for his trade-in, which is very surprising. And I think that's because Tony's Grand Marquis was the Ultimate Edition, so it was like the Ultimate Trim Edition. So I think that played a little bit of a role into it as well. But the Grand Marquis had
36,000.
Yeah, 236. Almost it was close to 237,000 miles. And I mean, the thing is, the motor was still strong, even though it burned the oil. That motor was still strong, wasn't it? Transmission shifted perfect, no hard shifts, no nothing, and the transmission flow was clean. It was that car. Me and Tony put a lot of work into that car. We did, didn't we?
It's kind of sad to see it go, but
It was
all
very.
the stuff we did.
It was actually very, very sad to see it go. I was actually sad. I mean, I really was. That night we left, I felt like we were missing a piece of our life.
We were.
I mean, really. But
It still don't feel real.
that's
It really don't.
our experience with with the Dodge Charger. Oh, and then so Tony had Allstate, and we put the
yeah.
we put so that night when we got home, we went online and added the Charger to his policy and removed the Marquise. And for insurance a month, for full coverage, with $1,000 deductible for collision and comprehensive, which is like the highest deductible you can choose. Which is supposed to, the higher the deductible, the cheaper your insurance is supposed to be. $488 and some change a month. I said, son of a bitch. I was like, Tony, you got to put it on here just for right now, just until you can shop around for some more insurance. He's like, okay, fine. So he put it on the policy, and literally the next day, Tony's like, well, I got a couple quotes, and I said, and he said, you're not gonna like who it's through though, and I'm like, who? He's like, Progressive, and I said, well, how much is Progressive charging you? And he told me, what was it? You told me
$293.
$293.
So that's a lot cheaper than Allstate right now.
That's a lot cheaper than Allstate. I said, man, that's still expensive. That's still $300 a month for insurance.
$300 is better than $488 a month.
I said, come on, man. I said, let's call Geico. Called Geico, and the motherfucker we got on the fucking phone was stupid as hell.
He was barely talking. He was doing a lot of typing. And he's like, well, I can do this, all this. Okay, and then after a couple minutes, he's like, I can get you down to like $267.
So I'm like, man, hang up on that fool. So Tony goes, okay, click. So we actually did a quote online through their website. And it's actually an actually more true of an estimate than what the guy on the phone gave us, because it required, we put in Tony's social security number and also his driver's license number. So they ran his actual driving record and saw he had a clean driving record. So we actually got it down to
$166.
$166 a month.
So we literally knocked off $100 not talking to somebody on the phone.
Really, we knocked off almost $300, a little over $300
Compared to what it was at the beginning
with Allstate to
Geico.
So
now life is doable. So we're in the same boat, kind of as we were before with when we had the Mazda, about paying maybe just a little bit less insurance than I was with the Mazda, and it's a newer car, and more reliable. So
and fast as fuck.
I'd call that a pretty good win. So
It's fast as fuck too, because it's all-wheel drive. And from a dig, I mean, that motherfucker, it throw you in the back seat. So I looked it up. It's got like 370 something horsepower and 360 foot-pounds of torque. This 2019 Dodge Charger, 5.7 liter Hemi. So it's got, like I said, almost it's got 370 horsepower and like 360.
He's the
foot-pounds
big
of
boy.
torque.
He's the big boy.
It's got some power. But Tony was still sad to know that the Mustang will still whoop ass. The Mustang is lighter and still has more horsepower
It's okay.
and torque.
I ain't worried about it.
So, but I told Tony if he was actually to race a Mustang, he would actually get the Mustang off the line because he's got all-wheel drive, so he's got better traction. But that Mustang is top end, and all of its power is top end. So that Mustang, Tony's gonna get it off the dig, but that Mustang's gonna come back and whoop ass. But yeah, so that's how we got the Charger, and that's how I helped them out. And Tony's very happy with his purchase, I think. So only time will tell how reliable this thing is. I looked it up online, and for the 5.7 liter Hemis, they're known to last at least 200, 250,000, sometimes even reaching 300,000 miles. So
The Mobile One will get it to 300,000.
that's right. We're actually going to do, Tony gets a little bit of money, in probably the next month or so. We're probably going to do a drain and fill on the transmission. We're going to drop the pan. What Tony looked up online was it does have a pan, it does have a filter that you can drop. And we're going to replace the filter, and we're going to drop the pan, change the fluid in it. But we're going to use Mobile One's. Mobile One has a transmission fluid as well, and we're going to use that to put in there. But obviously, we're going to make sure it's compatible. That's a big rookie mistake a lot of people don't do, is they actually don't. They go buy transmission fluid and don't actually make sure it's compatible with their transmission. So we're going to make sure it's compatible with that transmission. And
How many people come in out of the parts store every day and get the wrong oil and the wrong fluid? Amazes me still. Somebody will just grab something on the shelf and be like, "Is this for my car?" And I look up the car. Nope. Like, is it all the same? Nope.
No. It has to meet certain requirements and specs. But anyways, I know Tony didn't do much talking in this one. You got anything to say? Tony did all the talking with the show and tell.
I'm cute.
He's cute.
That's all that matters.
Well,
I got a pretty nice Charger. So,
now Tony can pull all the bitches.
yeah.
You're going to come home with 3 women on each side.
On each side,
Yeah, you're going to have a sevensome.
that's fine. I'll share with you. Don't worry, buddy.
Ew, I don't want to share. Ew. No, I'm good.
No, I mean, I'll give you 1 or 2. You can have them before I touch them. So,
All right, I appreciate it.
you gotta look out for your boys. Right?
Save some business for the rest of us, man.
Exactly. Hey, you got to save at least 1 or 2 for them. That's why I said I'll share. I'll share.
Nah, you ain't got to share. I get my own women. I'm good. Anyways, again, my name's Michael,
I'm Tony.
and we'll see you guys in the next one.